Hello everyone. Today I want to show you how I sublimated on this skinny tumbler. So here I'm using Adobe Photoshop. You can use any design program that you want to. I have several of the design programs, but I am familiar with Photoshop and I like it, so I'm kind of used to it. So here my canvas size is a 10 by 8.5. That is the template on Creative Studio for the skinny tumbler. So those are the numbers that I put in, and the resolution of course is 300. Now I already had my photo, my background, and my logo. So all I did was just uploaded those things into Adobe Photoshop. Now if there's a time where we need to go over Adobe Photoshop, I can possibly do that for you. Not an expert of course, but I do know enough. So I'm just looking for that file. I have many, as you can see, but once I find the file that I want, I am going to double tap and it will upload into Adobe Photoshop. And then I am going to find my logo for my new business. Here I chose the no background. I wanted my background that I chose to show, so it's just the logo itself, and I just sized it to whatever liking that I wanted. Of course I didn't want motif all the way from the left to the right because I knew it would overlap in a way on the skinny tumbler. And thinking about it now, I should have made it much smaller, or like a lot of the logo in different areas of the tumbler, so it can kind of be all over instead of like one word across. You'll see. It was just, just kind of like a preference here. So what I did was save this as I think a JPEG and a PNG. You can use either one in Creative Studio, I believe. But I always save all files in PNG and JPEG, just because some programs call for one or the other, and I always have it for something. So now once I created and saved my image, I moved to Creative Studio and I uploaded that image into Creative Studio. Now I am brand new to Sawgrass, so I am pretty sure you can probably do this design in Creative Studio. I haven't learned it yet, but I wanted to get in and use the machine very early, so that's what I did. I figured out what I needed to figure out, and it worked for me. So I chose the Tumbler template, and here you see me. I had to upload the image where I already had it uploaded, but as you can see up top, there's an upload image, and you would upload the image that you created. And then here I chose to print, and my settings, I have A-sub paper. This is my first time using A-sub paper. I usually use text print, but A-sub sent me some paper, so I am using it, and it actually turned out fantastic. Love the colors. So with Sawgrass and A-sub paper, you use type A. That seemed to work for me. I know some people will still use the text print setting to see which will give the brighter look or the more vibrant look, but it worked for me on this one, so I may play with it a little later. And stainless steel for the tumbler, and I think I left all the other settings the exact same until I learned those things. And then I hit print. And I don't know if it's the program or because I was using Wi-Fi why this loaded slowly. The printer and my laptop communicating. I do have a USB cord that I can work with. So I did print 2 of these because when it didn't respond to me saying print the first time, I did it again, and it ended up being on both sheets of paper. Settings are still the same. I press print, and it went to the printer right then. I know some of this is a little slow, so you guys can actually speed up a little bit. I know I sped up in some of these parts, but I wanted to show the entire process in case someone is looking to get a Sawgrass or already have one. And also just for those that don't know. So then I went to my printer. Now, figured out, because this is 11 by 17 paper, I figured out that my tray wasn't pushed all the way in. That's why you got the little red flashing light. But once I pushed that in, then it printed fairly quickly. And I took my paper and I went to my convection oven. So I had to turn my oven all the way up to 450. The highest it goes is 450 in order for it to reach 400, and it actually went over 400, as you can see. But all I did was turn it back down to 400, and it stayed like between, I would say, 390 to 400 the whole time. So I'm figuring that was because it was a brand new. I've never used it. This was my first time using it ever. So I'm figuring that's why. Hopefully that's the case. So I got my temp up, and now I am starting to wrap my tumbler with the paper. So I cut both. I don't think I cut both sides. I cut one side of the paper all the way down to the print part. I probably could have done it more. You will see once I get that paper out. But again, this was my very first learning process for me. But I definitely could have cut some more. Probably should have cut some more of the white off on that left side there in order for it to work, and some more off the right side, because I do see a little white strip there. Also, and you will see on my blog post if you haven't read it yet, the other mistake that I made was not making sure that my paper was straight. So I can tell that it's a little lopsided when when you actually see the print. But again, the very first time I learned, so the next one should be perfect. So once I felt that it was on like I needed to be, then that's when I used the heat tape to secure it. You see me rolling. See, now I should have known right there. I see right now. I see that it's crooked. I don't know if I saw that it was crooked. I think I did, but I was probably like, okay, well, it's overlapped good enough to where it won't matter because my seams are overlapping, but that wasn't the case. So again, living and learning. Another thing that I should have done or should not have done was this. I probably should have cut my ends instead of folding it, because when I folded it like that, not all of the ink got all around the size of the cup. So that was another mistake I made. So I have this shrink wrap, and I just put the cup inside the shrink wrap. Now again, in my blog post you will see that there are many ways to do this. A lot of people just use masking tape. People just use the heat tape, but I had these shrink wrap already. I don't let things go to waste, so I was going to use it, and I didn't have any other method that I desired to try. So I got my heat gun. I think here I was getting my gloves because I've burned myself enough with the heat gun when painting. So I got the heat gun, and then I just shrunk the wrap to my tumbler, and it went pretty quick. So it's a very, very quick process on that. And see, it just folds and secures pretty tight. I probably overdid it right here. Probably didn't need to, but because it was already on. But you know, just trying to make sure everything was all right. So it looked good to me. Now I went back to my oven. So my temperature, like I said, did stay between I would say 390 to 400 the whole time, which was great for me. When I did my research a while ago, I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what temperature to use first, to where I won't burn it, or to where it's not enough. So I decided to try it was 5 minutes and 45 seconds or something that ended up being that time. So that's what I did. I cooked it, I guess you could say, for that long, and that's what you'll see. I sped that up here so you won't be bored about looking at the oven for that long. Alright, so once time was up, I took my tumbler out, and as you can see, I don't know if you saw that a little bit, but there you could actually see my print on the outside of that shrink wrap. I think that was a very good sign. I think that's what I was looking at right there. So now listen, don't talk about me for how I'm gonna take this off, right? So I used these scissors, and I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, okay, I can get under there and cut and pull, but nope. It was a whole process of trying to get the shrink wrap off. I don't know if that's why people don't use it or what, but again, I have a whole bunch, so I'm going to use every bit of it. And you'll see that I ended up, because I was using these scissors, I'm pretty sure there's better things that I could have used, but I didn't have anything else at the time, and I thought the scissors were going to be great. Apparently not. But I did put a little slit in my tumbler, but it's okay because it's mine, and I pride myself in my tumbler. But I promise you, the next one will be perfection. And my daughter said too, as I showed her my 6-year-old baby, she said, can I drink out of that cup too? So she thought it was pretty. So can you see there's my scene. It's a little cricket. And then at the bottom, I think I will show it. At the bottom, you can see that it's kind of spotty to where, you know, how I laid that paper before I put the shrink wrap on. But overall, I absolutely loved it. The colors came out exactly how my painting was for my background, so that's great. It's always nice to have beautiful colors. And that's it. That's all I have. So if you found this useful, please subscribe to my channel. I will be delivering more videos soon. Bye bye.